I have over 10 grand of product here to open up, so we're going to open that up while I go over some topics of the day. So the agenda today is to talk a bit about March of the Machines, the new set coming out in April 2023, and the news that it's going to have Epilogue boxes. We'll get into a bit of that. I'm also then, for those that want to stick around and not just go through the news of the day and really see my most expensive box, we will go over a little bit more of the how I do the investing side of things in short snippets as I open up the boxes, okay? So that's what we're doing today. Real quickly, I just want to say I did not open this box already. It's sealed. I just tore out the address was in an envelope, so that's why there's this plastic envelope taped on top. But so we're gonna crack it out all open. And here I have booster packs, and the rest are all boxes. So to start with March of the Machines, we have our first Epilogue set, which is interesting. I don't know fully what the Epilogue set is. I mean, I guess it's supposed to fill out the rest of the story that we've had with the Phyrexians coming into the world, fighting, Dominaria, all that stuff that we've had the last few sets. We got our, Phyrexia All is One coming up. And with that, it's interesting when you look at the set on Wizards' website. It says that there are draft set boxes, jumpstart boxes, which I'm okay with because I like playing limited, so I may occasionally get a set jumpstart, but I'll admit, I don't think it's a good product for Wizards. Now, maybe they're seeing something in their data where people are buying these jumpstart set boxes and playing with them, but I don't know. I think clearly the Jumpstart product is good when you mix a bunch of sets together and have a lot of varied themes, where each pack you open is not like one of 5 different themes, right? You can get one of 30 or something. Those are good, like Jumpstart 2020 and Jumpstart 2022 and things like that, but the set-based ones, not a big fan of. But those are included, and the interesting thing is they left out collector boxes. And with the way Wizards is, I don't think collector boxes are going away or anything. Those are a big moneymaker. So their site does not have collector boxes, but that might be because they haven't figured out exactly what they're doing with the collector boxes yet. They might be changing those up a bit. When you go into Amazon, which is also linked directly from Wizards, you can see they have collector boxes listed there, but it has details of what should be in the collector box, but no image of it. There's some conspiracy out there because they don't have the image of that box, but they have images of everything else, that maybe they're still messing with what might be in the box, and I don't think that's impossible. But since on Amazon they're stating what cards will be in the box, as in, how many rares, how many uncommons, foils, tokens, etc., I doubt they're going to change that up. They're maybe just figuring out the artwork. It's interesting, but apparently they're going to have something called an Epilogue box, and then I'll get into that story. So before we jump in there, though, got some Mercadian Mask packs here. 3 of them look to be in good condition. The first base set with foils. So put that aside. And they have Epilogue boxes, which sound like they're going to be basically collector boxes, but maybe you only get like a cheaper collector box because you do not get any commons in it whatsoever, and it only has the rares, but not as many as a collector's box, and not necessarily all foils and things like that. I don't know. It's interesting. Gotta shuffle around these boxes. There's so many boxes here. I have this ledge actually that's just above this. That's what these you'll see the corners here hold on up, and I don't know, so much mail today. Hard to fit it all on the table. But these Epilogue boxes are interesting. Now, Wizards coming out with yet again another product, right? But as we've mentioned in a lot of our videos here, we're not really against that. We do think they're trying to tailor all the boxes to the right people. Now, I do think there's, I can't see them just coming out with another box and never getting rid of boxes, right? Like, maybe Wizards is doing weird things, but I have a feeling that they may be trying to get rid of some other boxes, like maybe get rid of the set boxes. I think that's the set box is the one that has the least placement right now. Like if you're a player or collector that wants to just get the premium product of rares, you will get a collector box. And if you need all the commons, you'll get a draft box. And if you need a draft, you also get a draft box. So draft boxes have their place. This is weird. Okay, I guess it's already kind of like opened in here. I'm trying to figure out how to open this box. This is very weird. It's like attached on both sides there. Maybe I just rip it? Oh, alright, I'll just rip in. But draft boxes have their place, collector boxes have their place. Set boxes do have their place as the affordable place to get better cards. But when you open the set box, do you really care about the commons and uncommons? I mean, maybe a little bit uncommons. Really, I think they're trying to make, split the difference between draft boxes and collector boxes with set boxes, and that kind of had a place for quote-unquote no one, or people would buy them, but there's a better way of doing it. And I think that's kind of maybe what they're getting at with Epilogue boxes, is kind of like a cheaper collector's box, where it's an affordable price, whereas collector boxes for a lot of people are just too much money and too premium of cards. Maybe you just want access to good cards. You don't care about the variants or the foils or anything like that. There's not really a place for you to go right now. It's right now meant to be set boxes, but you still get, you know, commons and stuff in there that you don't care about, that are easily accessible. So I think that's kind of what they're going out with Epilogue boxes. It's so new. They announced it just recently, so who knows. But, you know, that seems to fit the difference of get rid of set boxes, introduce the not premium cards, but the playable, powerful cards, and just a package for that, where you're not spending as much as collector, but maybe a bit more than draft, or maybe it's even the same price as draft. You just, if you are in it for the card value, you get a Epilogue box. If you're in it for the draft, you get the draft box. And enough people will draft that the commons will flow around the community, right? You know, you won't have trouble getting commons still. All right, we got interesting. All right. I have never had one of these boxes before. This is another one of those boxes that have gotten away from me. Guild Pact. I mean, it's not like extremely rare, but I've just never had one of these. And that's getting rare. There's very few boxes that I've never owned one of. I guess these have come down in price enough where I thought it was worth getting it. Anyway. So that kind of speaks to the Epilogue boxes. Let me know down below in the comments. I mean, this kind of news of like things that Wizards are doing today is more interesting to get people's opinions of, rather than like the vintage old stuff where we've been debating it for 30 years now. So, want your take on what you think about Epilogue boxes. Do you think Epilogue sets are going to become a thing, and they do those like it's a new kind of set, you know? They're changing kind of how they're doing the storyline, we know. They are, you know, moving more towards the evergreen. Everything, all sets are applicable all the time. And a little less towards the rotation of things. And storyline, you know, kind of just being a never-ending story. Let's see if I got a letter or just a receipt. Oh, we got a thank you, Jeremy. All right. But nothing else in the note. But yeah, I'd like to see down below in the comments what you think. I guess that's really it for our Epilogue story. As more details come on out about Phyrexia, or sorry, not Phyrexia All is One, but March of the Machines, the April set. We'll talk more about that. All right, you know what this is? Well, I guess you can see it does say right there. All right, we got a Morning Tide booster box. Also one that have not had much of. I think this is my second Morning Tide booster box. So, all right. Now on to the investment part of the opening and the discussion, especially with about to open this up. Um, I mentioned in a lot of my recent videos, and it's got a lot of traction. People are watching it and want to know more about investing in Magic. And the summary of one of my recent videos was, if you're flipping, it's kind of like a business. I go into how to do that. I'm not going to repeat that here. If you are investing for the long term, for more volume, where you can get more boxes relatively cheaply, but not so cheap that you could expect to flip it, you will be looking to sell them within 5 to 10 years typically. And in doing so, you need to consider as part of your portfolio, because now you're exposed to the risk of collectibles and Magic and how they fluctuate over time. And in that, you basically need to see it as diversification of your investment portfolio. And one interesting comment that some YouTubers have made recently that I agree with and I wanted to share with my viewership was how the whole point of the investing is partially to limit your downside risk. And I know Rudy has talked about that a lot, but I want to go over a little bit more about what that means. It means if you can get the boxes at a low enough price where you can't see them falling too much more. Now, I've been buying all throughout the 2020, 2021 bubble that we were seeing, and so I bought them high, I bought them low, I bought them at times where they were higher than they are now, and I always expect that they can go down in value. The thing is, I can control roughly how much they go down in value by making sure I get them at the right price. Now, so for instance, let's say I had an offer to get a box of Invasion at $500. Right now, that's crazy. Like, Invasion has recently been, about $1,000, has gone up to like $1,500, been in that price range for actually quite some time. And it's never going to go back down to $500. When I say never, I mean anytime in the near future. My downside risk, if I bought a box for Invasion for $500, which by the way, I've never done, at least since I was a kid. But if I did buy one for $500 today, I know I'd have zero downside risk, because I could easily turn that around and make $600 or definitely more. I could easily sell that for $1,000 today. And, if I want to sell it for a little bit more, it might take a little bit more time, but I know I could do it, and I know it will go up to be above $1,000 in the future. So limiting downside risk is part of what lets you do this. Otherwise, if you're getting them too high, you are exposing yourself to too much risk. Now, if you buy everything at market value, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do. You'll definitely be able to get more boxes, and maybe the ones that you're more interested in. The problem is the market value will fluctuate a lot, and your downside risk will be higher. There's a chance that it goes quite a bit lower than what you bought it at. So what makes the most sense is to be in this regularly, constantly buy and sell, and only buy the best deals. Usually there are people looking to get rid of an item fast because they need liquidity. Now, they could, if they didn't need liquidity, sit on it longer, wait for the right buyer to come along. But as you are an investor willing to come in with liquidity and buy up the opportunities for a fair price, but lower the market value. I mean, if you're paying market value, you can just go to Card Kingdom or any other retailer. They're a little easier to work with, less issues than eBay, right? And just go that route. But I have never bought off Card Kingdom any vintage box because I know my downside risk will be too high. So that's a little bit about the key to investing is manage your downside risk. And with that, what you've been waiting for, I got another Four Horsemen box. Another The Dark booster box. This is now my third. I'm on a roll of buying these. I think they've come down a little too much in price. And hey, Four Horsemen, 1993. Actually, sorry, 1994. These are great. Downside risk on these, as long as you get it at a reasonable price. Again, that's what I've done. Low downside risk. Sometimes you can turn these into flips. I don't think I got these at the right price to turn them into flips, right? But if an interested buyer were to contact me and want to pay $8,000 for it, I would definitely sell it to them. So might have to wait a little while. Getting an interested buyer in some of these is not the easiest thing. But there's my box of the dark. Hope that helps people. It just highlights kind of the biggest point of investing in this. Your whole goal is to limit your risk. In doing so, you have an opportunity to make more money too. As you buy low, your return on investment as a percentage is higher when you go to sell it. And if you're sitting on all these boxes, again, you need a lot of liquidity, and you are holding up a lot of liquidity in these boxes at the same time. So limiting downside risk is really the key. And that one thing you do is you go around making offers to people. A lot of times they'll say no, they want closer to market value. You say, okay, you're not the buyer, and you move on. Yeah, most people are pretty understanding of that. I've occasionally had somebody reach on out like, oh, you can do better than that, or that's lowballing me. I've never understood that. Like, I put out an offer, you can counter it. I basically will offer what I can do. And most people, by far, 99% of the people I work with completely understand that. The 1% that do say, they're offended by it or something, honestly, I've never actually had somebody come out and use those words, so I guess I can't explain that, but if somebody were to come out and say they're offended by an offer, oh well, too bad. You just got to put up with that sometimes, I guess, but usually if you're offering within the ballpark of what's fair, which I do. If you do come out and just offer everybody lowballs, you're never going to get any deals done. You will not be able to buy in the volume that I do, because people, sometimes you just don't respond to the lowball offers. Like, I always take the time to respond to each one. Sometimes on eBay they have like an offer, like you submit an offer, and I won't accept below a certain point. So it does not impact me. Like, I don't even see a message if you offered me what I consider just straight out too low. Now, I don't set my offer to be what I will accept, like the minimum, right? You can be, a fair amount below what I would actually take, and I'll still get a message. And that's more me seeing, I want a little bit of input on what the market is throwing out there as an offer, and I do like to see those come in sometimes. And then I'll respond to you and say, hey, look, I can't go that low. Thank you for the offer. Would you consider meeting at this other price point that I can do? And then if they can't, I will say, okay, I might be able to go a little bit lower if we go off a platform and do something like PayPal instead, where fees are lower. And so we can, split the difference in price and make an agreement that ends up working out for both of us, right? Sometimes fees are the only difference between coming in an agreement. But yeah, for the most part, people are very understanding. Throw out offers, make it reasonable. And as long as you put reasonable offers in that limit your downside risk, you can do this for quite a while. Need a lot of liquidity, but you can do it for a while. That's all for today. Sorry for the ramble, but I had a lot of boxes to open and several topics I wanted to cover. Remember, put down in the description below what you think of the Epilogue boxes, and are they doing the right thing? Kind of merging the difference between collector's boxes and draft boxes with a box that offers rares but not necessarily premium treatment. And talk to you next time. Bye-bye.